Welcome back. This is Beautiful Stutter, and my name is Bo Rhodes. This is my journey to stop stuttering. I've created this channel to help myself and to help others learn, heal, and grow. I am not a speech pathologist. I am a doctor of chiropractic and a lifestyle coach. The things I share are the things that I do every day to help myself be more fluent. This video will be unedited, be raw. I want everyone to hear and see how I talk. I will stutter. That's one of the things that I am here to overcome. It's not perfect, right? And what I'm really trying to find is not so much not stuttering, but just ease of speech. That was the very first thing that I really tried to achieve. My long-term goal is stop stuttering, but it's that ease of speech, that struggle. I wanted to find that flow. These are the things that I do every day, right? One is it starts with you, right? Making that choice, making that commitment, right? You're not alone. You will have setbacks. I've had setbacks. I have failures, struggles, regrets, all of that. The difference is I haven't allowed myself to quit. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this, is because I am determined to stop stuttering. Last time I talked about that love and acceptance, right? You need to be proud of yourself for getting to this point, right? You need to forgive yourself, right? And it's all starts with your belief system and controlling your thoughts. You control your life by controlling how you think. You control your speech by controlling how you think. Today I'm going to talk about the specific things I do, but overall it's it's to accept that it's the obstacle is the way. You can't avoid things, right? Especially when you are trying to change something as hard as your stutter. And so I talked about you do not rise to your goals, but you fall to your standards. And your standards are elevated by your systems or your habits. If you create systems, you create change and progress. Understand that you need to be patient. It's a process, and all processes take time. Life always happens, right? Hard things are going to come in, right? It's our habits that we have in place. It's our systems that we have created that we're able to fall back on, right? There's going to be times where sometimes it just feels easier to speak, right? That flow just happens. Sometimes it just seems like the hardest thing that you've ever done. In every situation, you have blocks. You just can't get the words out. You're nervous, sweaty, embarrassed, all those things, right? The stronger your systems are in place, the less those times happen, the more confidence you have, right? And this is something that I plan on practicing for the rest of my life here. I don't think that there's going to be a day where I'm like, I'm good, that's it, right? I don't stutter anymore, right? No, I think that I will have to continue to practice these things to keep these systems strong, these habits healthy, to maintain the progress that I have already made and the progress that I will make in the future. And that's where the consistency comes in, right? Consistency for change. You can't go to the gym one time and be fit. You cannot diet one day and be healthy or skinny or any of that stuff, right? It's the consistency of your habits, right? Without commitment, you won't start, but without consistency, you won't finish. It's the commitment. It's the commitment to a lifestyle change. I didn't, for the longest time, I didn't realize that it's 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 not just about the speech. It's not just practicing my list or reading out loud or certain situations where I have to stop, breathe, right? Wait, be patient, all that stuff, right? It's the lifestyle change that comes with that. I truly believe that you have to become the person that you want to be, and it's not just how you speak, right? It is, trying to strengthen your mind, your body, and your spirit. Those are the things that I've had to do to find the success that I have already found. Consistency doesn't guarantee success, but not being consistent guarantees not being successful. So you can't just start everything all at one time, right? It's a process, right? You build habits one by one. And after you're consistent in one habit, then it's time to add one more. And you just do it piece by piece, right? You create change by just filling in gaps, right? Practice makes progress. Progress is improvement, and it doesn't happen overnight. You have to be patient. Two things: you have to be patient and you have to be obsessed. This has to be the most important thing in your life because it's going to take all your brain power, all your energy to put into this change because you're not just trying to change how you talk, you're trying to change how you live. There is such a mental component, right? The anxiety that you've had, past experiences. Well, I've stuttered on this word, so next time I try to say this, I'm going to stutter on that. You have to strengthen that mind. You have to be resilient. And the only way to find that resilience is you have to put yourself out there, and you are going to fail. You learn through failure. It's okay. It's okay. You're going to have setbacks. Sometimes it's going to feel like one step forward, two steps back. And then sometimes it's going to be like, wow, how did I get 10 steps ahead? One day of practice, there's no change. 2 days of practice, there is no change. 100 days of practice, you are a new person. And that's the importance of that consistency. The consistency of how you think, right? What you believe in. We talked about whatever you believe to be true will be your truth. Your subconscious will find that, right? So you start there. That's your first system. The obstacle is the way, right? There are, I'm sure, things as someone who stutters know that I avoid, right? You can avoid things. It's a fine line because if you put yourself out there every time, you're not going to be successful every time. That's okay, right? That's where that resilience comes in. That's where the bedrock of your belief system is, where you believe it to be true, you see it, you feel it, right? You mentally practice, right? Not so much the words that you're going to say, right? But the feeling, how it feels to flow, how it feels to have your speech flow. Not giving up in the face of failure and persevering through those hard times, that's how we heal, right? You learn and grow through failure, right? Not giving up, that's the healing part. That's the part that helps you heal, helps you show improvement, right? When I say heal, I'm talking about the the feeling that you have when you do stutter. It hurts. It's embarrassed. I've been in front of a crowd, right? I've had to say my name, couldn't get it out. People laugh. They will comment, "Oh, did you forget your name or something like that?" Right? All those things, right? The healing part, right, is as you keep persevering, as you keep getting better. That's that healing part. So not avoiding things, right? It's a gift. Anytime that you got to go talk to someone or the phone rings, it's a gift. It's an opportunity to practice, to learn, to heal, to grow, right? Um, by having that mindset, it changes everything, right? If you're excited to do something, it's a lot easier, right? And the feeling of being nervous and excitement are the same thing. so 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 it's a lot better to be excited about something than to be scared, right? Have fear. Um, and and so and so you take those opportunities, take those things that you would normally avoid, right? And do. Now, you have to be prepared in a way. And when I say prepared, not about what you're exactly going to say, because I have found that that's always given me more anxiety. If I go, okay, I'm going to say this exact things, right? Focus more on not what you're trying to say, but 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 how you're breathing, right? How loose you are. If you're tight, if you're tense, you're going to create that block, right? So relax. It's a lot easier said than done, I know, but that's where that practice comes in. Okay. So when you go into those situations, right? First, change how you think about them, right? It's a gift. It's an opportunity to be successful, to practice, right? Practice doesn't make perfect, right? Practice makes progress. And that's all we're trying to do. As I said, right? These are the things that I'm gonna have to do my whole life, right? It's not just I can do it 100 times and now I'm good. No, you have to maintain that success, right? We don't want to fall back into our bad habits, right? And one of them, right, is that, okay, I'm going to avoid certain situations so that I don't have to feel a certain way. Because even if you fail, if you do it, if you put yourself out there, you're going to be proud. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of doing it, right? Love and accept yourself. The success is in the journey. Going out there and doing new things is hard, but everything worth doing is on the other side of hard. So you have to embrace that struggle, embrace the hard tasks, because that's just going to build that confidence. You need to commit to the lifestyle choice every day. As I said, right? Strengthen your mind, strengthen your body, strengthen your spirit. My goal is to be better and better, not just in my speech, but in all aspects of my life every day. And overcoming your stutter is going to take you to new opportunities that you've never dreamed of, or that you've only dreamed of if you knew that you didn't stutter. How powerful is that? This is not magic. There's nothing wrong with you. There's no physical thing there. It is limitations that have been put on yourself. And if you break through those, right? If you overcome those, and again, it's not going to be easy, but everything worth doing is on the other side of hard. It's simple. It's simple, not easy. And I say it's simple because it's the things that you do. It's the lifestyle choices. Make it simple, right? You are changing your life when you have decided to not stutter. You will become a new person with these systems and habits in place. And you're going to want to do other things to signify yourself to that change, right? An easy one for me was every day I make sure the first thing I do is make my bed, right? That was a change from when I would sometimes do it. Now it's every day, right? Because I am changing, I'm putting in those good habits, I am decluttering things, adding a new picture up, a new poster up, a new chair, a new something in your house, right? Or your room to help signify that change, right? Some of the things I do, right? So every day, right? My non-negotiables, right, is, as I said, right? I wake up, make my bed, right? I do my daily affirmations, right? I start with my belief system, right? I control the way I think. And those are the things that I say back to myself every day. The other thing I do is I write down my goals for that day. So all my tasks, right? I have my whole day scheduled out, right? So I have my affirmations, my goals, and then, like I've said, right? Mind, body, spirit, I also find that time to also pray. That is something that's been new to me, right? Finding that connection with God, that spirituality. And, it can be your God, any God, right? And so trying to balance that out, trying to fill those gaps, right? Uh, I go to the gym, right? I get appropriate exercise. I don't want to say exercise be, be, because it's programmed out for my day. If I have a more stressful day, I'm not going to have a super hard workout that day because that's just going to increase my stress, right? And stress will affect your speech, right? It's about energy, that flow of energy, positive energy, right? So trying to have my bedtime set, right? So that I wake up in the day refreshed so I can have a strong day. I have an energetic day, right? I start my morning off with that mental work, that positivity, right? Affirmation, saying that, setting up my goals for the day, right? So I have a plan. Um, I find that the more I'm caught off guard, right, especially in conversations, right, all of a sudden someone says, or if someone engages me in a conversation, right, the more things are unstructured, unplanned, the harder it is to control my speech. So I plan out my day, right? Um, it's the practice, it's the consistency, it's having my systems in place, right? One of the first things I did that I really noticed that change is um, I have 3 kids, right? And when I had my first child, we would do story time every night, right? Reading out loud. So, 3 kids, I still read out loud every night. They're still young, so we're still doing story time, but that reading out loud. And I remember in the beginning, right? I was worried that I was going to stutter. I never wanted my kids to to stutter. So I wanted to give them speech, give them story time without that stutter. And I remember just worried and I'm reading the story and I remember that transition as the more I read every night, right? Not overnight, but every night it got better and better. Now I can read out loud in front of anybody and not stutter, right? For the most part, I would say I'm 99%, and to me, that's that is really good. So it's those things, it's those practices, it's the consistency, right? So that's just a small example of the the things I do throughout my day that has helped me. The other thing is keeping the mindset there, right? Keeping the goal, right? If you have to set a reminder on your phone or what to go back to what you're trying to do, right? Go back to those affirmations throughout that day, right? It's not just at one part of the day. I'm continuing to say them all the time. I have my journals here. I carry them everywhere, and any opportunity I have, right, I will spend some time saying the things that I want to think, believing the things, reinforcing those patterns. We will we fall to our standards, right? And if your systems are strong, right, your systems are set, you will keep making progress, right? And then it will just elevate from there. Choose it every day, right? Keep the goal, keep practicing, right? Um, like, subscribe, comment on this. If there's anything that you want me to talk about, any experiences I've had, right? All that stuff. I am here, I'm open, and I am willing to share everything so that I can help you get to the point not only where I'm at, but beyond. It's possible. You just have to make that commitment and then just keep going. Thank you for hearing me out. Again, send a comment and I will respond. I will create a video on that. And yeah, have a great day.